Hi, and welcome to Insight number 10 in our series of 30 Days of Insights. Um, Today, I wanted to share a little bit about this, continuing on this journey of transformation. Um, how do we deal with being consistent and taking the necessary steps that we need to take? I realized with my own journey that I have largely relied on motivation to inspire and to fuel my movement forward. And as everyone who has had that experience realizes that eventually the steam runs out. Eventually, you need to find some other reason to keep going or to keep pursuing whatever the goal is. And so, I think the one of the big challenges is how do we switch from motivation to something that's much more sustainable, something that is much deeper and integral to creating a whole, healthy, new you. And so, over the last few weeks and months, I've realized that there is something deeper. There is, as I said, there is this calling, but more than the calling, there is the internal change that I need to go through, that I need to um, hang on to in order to make it through this period. So, moving from motivation to a different kind of fuel for your transformation, I've realized that the size, the scope, the nature of the goal or the objective or the vision that you are trying to achieve, that could be some kind of fuel. But more than that, I think it is about who it is you want to become. Once you've done the inner work and realized all the areas that you want to change, all the areas where you want to elevate yourself, where you want to change things in your life, where you want to become stronger, where you want to step into a higher, a bigger self, those things I think become the fuel. It's almost like when you have done the internal work and you realize that you are just sick and tired of being the person you've always been. You are sick and tired of playing small. You are sick and tired of seeming to be weak or whatever the discovery is that you've made. That can be, I think, a much more sustainable fuel for pushing you into this bigger realm, this bigger sphere of being. And so my question was around sustainability. How do you keep going once you have found this fuel? And I think that the excavation that we do into ourselves that reveals all these things that we think we need to change or that we want to change, that is important. But also to just keep reminding ourselves of what it is that we are moving away from, what it is that we are trying to move towards. And for those things, affirmations could be very useful. But I have discovered a real game changer with regards to affirmations. So it's not just saying the right words, but it's also about embodying what the words are referring to, what the words are pointing to. So that person you want to become, what do they feel like? What do they how do they walk? How do they stand? How do they feel in their body? Um, so as you are saying the affirmations, to keep pulling yourself back to that feeling, inhabiting your body in the same way that you think that person, that ideal version of you, would inhabit your body. Um, so that's the one thing. And then the other thing is, from that place of embodying this higher you, the more ideal you, what is the most logical or the easiest action that you can take from that perspective? And sometimes what comes to mind will be something concrete that you can actually do: make a phone call, do some research, send an email, set up a meeting, whatever the case might be. But sometimes what comes back, if you really listen, is just chill, just relax, do some meditation, take a walk. In other words, be quiet with yourself. And through that process of saying the affirmation that speaks to you, embodying what that ideal version of you would look like, would feel like, how they would walk, how they would speak, um, and then from there, asking yourself, what logical action can I take right now? Should I take right now? What is the easiest thing I can do from this place of embodying my ideal self? And then take that action. So, saying the affirmation, embodying the version of you that you feel you want to become, and then taking action from that feeling place. So I just want to point out something with regards to embodying. Um, so embodying really points us to something I think quite profound. It points us to look at the nature of the goals or the objectives or the vision that we set for ourselves. So um, I feel like when you think about embodying the person that you're going to become, it calls you to um, deeper levels of insight. So you're not just talking about you want to be, 20 pounds lighter, or you want to have longer hair, or whatever the case might be, but the power of that person, the presence of that person, the strength, the confidence. Those are things that you can start to embody, regardless of what your physical appearance looks like at the moment. But so when we speak about embodying, we are speaking to those essential ingredients to the beingness of the person you are striving to become. So not necessarily, getting a new haircut and getting, I don't know, new clothes or whatever the case might be. Those might be additional supports, but the primary focus should be on the inner work, the inner expression of that person that you want to embody. So I hope you guys find this useful and helpful on your journey, and I look forward to seeing you again at the next one.